Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Indeed, good morning to you all and welcome to today. Today, would you believe it is Monday, the 29th of December, 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen. Always wonderful having you company. Thanks to those of you watching us on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, cbc.bb. To each and every one of you, thank you for doing so, for spending time with us throughout the year. The year isn't done yet. We have a couple days still, but for sure, we want to say thank you for spending time with us, making a conscious decision every single day, every single morning, Monday to Friday, to keep us company, and for sharing the show. And to all of you, we say thank you. You're real good troopers. Let that not end today or tomorrow or the next day. Let it continue forever. Of course, if you know of something or someone whose story has to be told, you have to tell us about it. And you can do so by sending us an email. The email address just popped off your screen. It's morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Mornin Barbados, there it is, at cbc.bb. And to all of you who do so, we say thank you. For those of you still betwixt, we're all trying to figure out whether you should, I say you should. Send us the email, hit send, and we'll be happy to respond to you. We love you being partners with what we do. So, greeting cards have all been sent. The Christmas rush now is all through. How did you do? Were you happy at Christmas? Did you get everything you were looking for? Or did you give everything that you had? And how did Christmas really go? Are you now exhausted? I'm being so serious. Are you now exhausted? Have you given thought to how your year will end or how your new year will begin? All of those things, are you doing? Did everyone come by that you'd hope would come by and had time with you, spending time at Christmas lunch? What did you cook? I'm being so serious. What did you cook? What did you cook? Did you do the traditional rice and peas, green peas and rice, or did you do lentils or other types of peas? Did you try the fried okra? If you have not yet tried fried okra, you are wasting time. I'm telling you, well seasoned and well fried, not to the crisp, but well fried, you are having a delicious dish. I like to blend my into my rice and just sit back and enjoy it. I love okra as a rice to begin with to start, but nonetheless, that's it. Have you begun to put down the lights, or are the lights going to stay up until the 6th of January? Are you one of those who do that, the 12 days of Christmas right after Christmas Day? Are you into that? Are you already planning? I know, Piercy, you're flooding me with questions, but I have one more. Are you already planning for New Year's? Are you already planning what you're going to do on Old Year's Day? Because January the 1st is this Thursday. This Thursday starts a brand new year. And so I have a question for you today. Have you given thought to your own financial planning? Have you given thought to that? How did Christmas go? And are you ready for what 2026 holds? January, to begin with, is always a tough month for a lot of us who, you know, we spend a lot at Christmas time in December. And so are we ready for January? Have we kept back enough to be able to take us through January and not just live on the hope that you get a bonus? Questions you have to answer. Have you been as safe as you should have been over the holiday season? And just what can you expect for 2026? And indeed, as a reminder, we'll take a look at that with the Barbados Fire Service when they join us. We do have a financial controller who will join us too to help us with our budgeting. We look at that very seriously. Also today, we want to look at how charitable work works and how can we in 2026 help them do far more. And we'll be talking to them a little bit more about that as well. Rhonda Hines-Graham, good morning to you, sweet Rons. A marvelous Monday to you. Indeed, I saw that you had a tremendous Christmas time. That is good. She's saying good morning to all of you living abroad. Thank you for commenting on our YouTube stream. Pat Ben, my girl, Christmas for you must have been something else because I saw that you had a snowstorm where you are. Pat, good morning to you. She's wishing everyone today a lovely Monday. To you, Pat, we say the very same. Marcia, morning. How you doing? She says, good morning, beautiful people. Magnificent Monday to one and to all. And to you too, Marcia, we say magnificent Monday. Thank you for being a constant girl who turns up every day for us. Slender Glenda, good morning. How are you doing? She says, yes, it's the last Monday of 2025. We're looking forward to even more Mondays with you, Slender. Have yourself a great today and a lovely year ahead, Slender Glenda. Vereen Walker, good morning to you as well. She's saying Monday morning greetings to everyone everywhere. And to you, Vereen, thank you so much for keeping us company throughout the year as well. Hello to you, Awesome Slayer. How are you doing? Awesome Slayer. Awesome Slayer says, good morning, Barbados. Good morning, Barbados says, good morning to you as well. Have yourself a great day. It is the 29th of December. Today is the birthday of the last boy born to Lolita and Evans Bowen. That's my little brother, Julian. Julian, congratulations to you today on your birthday. Have a wonderful, wonderful time on, what's today? Today's Monday. So it was on Saturday night. We had a surprise birthday party for him and we had a really, really good time. Took him totally by surprise. But on Christmas Day was the second last boy within the 10 of us. That's my brother Tyrone. He celebrated his birthday. He's in the UK. So to you, Tyrone, belated birthday. Kathy Coss, good morning to you. It's freezing there in Hartford. I'm glad you should have come home. It is not freezing here, Kathy Ann. So, Kathy Cox, good morning to you. I hope that you survive the cold and you survive it well. Thank you so much for joining us. Richard Gamble, good morning, Richard. How do you do today? He says good morning to all of the beautiful people across the world, to family and friends, and he's watching from Maryland in the United States of America. Good morning to you, Richard Gamble. Thank you for waking up to keep us company as well. Remember, share the show. Denise Smith, good morning. She sends blessings to everyone. We send the very same back to you, Denise. Thank you so very much for waking up to keep us company on Mornin Barbados. We look forward to having all of your company. David G., I have not seen from you in a long time. How's Holly, your wife? David G. Sullivan, who watches from overseas. David G., good morning to you. Have a great morning indeed. Were you here this year? I don't remember seeing you, David G., you nor Holly, but if you can make it coming in 2026, I'd love to see you indeed. Thank you so much. Dari Hope, good morning, sir. Dario, good morning to you. How are you doing? He's watching with the wifey. Good morning, Dario. Always wonderful having you in company. Is this the Dario who I know as the driver of the Cube bus? If it is, he's a good guy. Good morning to you, Abeje. Abeje, good morning from St. Lucia. Bonjour. Hope you have a sac. How do you say it? In St. Lucia, I don't know. How do you do? By the way, I had a joke to tell about you, Solutions, which is the strangest thing I ever found. I walked into a liquor store, and I not for the rum, I wanted some falernum. I met the security officer at the door, and I said, can you show me where I can find the falernum? He gave me this quizzical look and asked, huh? I said, falernum, you know. He said, I don't think we have that. I don't know what you're talking about. I said, falernum. He says, oh, you mean philylum. I took a pause because I'm wondering, is he hearing me correctly? Was I speaking so badly? Fihu? I said, no, I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. Show me what it is that you call philylum, and I'll see if it's what I'm asking for. And he took me around the corner, and there it was, falernum. But he said to me, you know, anywhere you go in St. Lucia and you ask for falernum, they will not know what you're asking for. You have to ask for philylum. I thought it was the weirdest thing in the world, philylum. But 'tis life, 'tis what it is. Hello, Valdewaith. Valdewaith watching from Queens, New York. Good morning, Valdewaith. Were you snowed in? I know it's freezing. I know it's freezing. But you've had one of those horrible snowstorms. Good morning to you, Anthony Smith, watching also from 718 in New York. Good morning, Anthony. Have a great day. We love it when you're all over the world and you're watching and keeping us company. Remember, share the show. Tell others where you are as well. Come join in the way Barbados does it every single weekday morning from 6 in the morning. SVG, Anika Solomon, good morning. How are you doing? I love St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Beautiful, beautiful set of islands right there. Canouan is my favorite, by the way, just so you know. Not that I have anything against the mainland, but I absolutely love Canouan. And for those of you who are contemplating your next visit across the region, consider Canouan. It's very small, it's very different, but it's very friendly and very safe. You shall enjoy it, indeed, in Canouan. Pam Smith, good morning. This is so tiny, tiny, tiny. Da-da-da-da-da. From where you're watching from right here in Barbados, from the UK. Oh, you're in Barbados. Welcome to the sunshine of a Christmas in Barbados. Hope you had a lovely time. She's delighted to have had a shout out on our program. Good morning to you, Pam Smith. Good morning. Have a lovely day. Hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday with us, you and your family, indeed. We're 10 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. So, what do charities do and what do charities need? How can we help charities do what they do in reaching out to bring relief to others? We'll take a look at that after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about solar ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One, your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
12 minutes now after 6 o'clock. There's a song I absolutely love by Dionne Warwick. It's called Walk On By. And many times as we walk on by people with need, and we carry on casually as though it never happened. That is something that we need to perhaps address for 2026. And so we want to turn our attention to the work of charity within our community, and the groups that give charity to our community, and the work that bring relief to many in our communities as well. The spirit of community is still very much alive and well in Barbados, but how did they fare over Christmas? How big is the need, really and truly, and how can we all help in meeting that need? And so we thought the Fishers of Men is one group that we should talk to when we come to dealing with the whole spirit of community indeed. And so I'm happy to be joined by the lady who runs Fishers of Men Charity, Sharon Bellamy. You know her so well. She's been on TV so many times. Sharon, good morning.
Good morning to you, to Pearson. Good morning.
Will you be so quiet with me? It's too early?
No, not really.
Okay. And with her is her secretary, Sheldon Miller. Sheldon, good morning to you as well.
Good morning to you, Pearson.
Wonderful to have your company. And so, Sharon, let's talk a little bit about why did you form Fishers of Men? We'll start there.
Well, from my very young age, like 5, 6, 7, I saw my mother, Mornin Bellamy. She used to cook and feed the community. So I started out following her, because I remember one time, many, many years ago, I was 8, 7, and someone came to the house, a young child, and he was saying that they had nothing to eat. So I always share this. So I went into our larder at that time. We called it Cumbers. Nobody was at that time a larder. And I took out everything and gave to them. So when my mother came home, she said, where's the groceries to cook? I said, Mommy, but somebody came and I see you giving. She said, but they're not your things. So it really jumped on me. So I was doing this charitable work for many, many years. It stuck on me.
You never got tired of it?
Never get tired. Every morning I'm up at 3 o'clock to feed the homeless.
A lot of times there are people who would see a homeless person, a person without shelter, and tend to think that, ooh, I shouldn't go anywhere near to you because somehow you represent something I don't want to touch. But that's not what you see.
Never.
You saw a human being.
Human being, that's what I saw. Because many of those people, as I dealt with them on a daily basis, some of them was like me and you. Some of them went to big schools, Harrison College, Queens College, all sorts of schools. But, you know, challenges push them where they are. So I never discriminate no one.
How big is the need?
Very big the need is. Very, very big. I remember the last time I went out, not that the last time I gave was last Thursday, and I got back home at 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. in the morning, because not only do I feed the homeless, I do food hampers, whereas twice a week I go throughout Barbados from St. Lucie back to St. Philip.
And I mean, this is not all that you do. You also work.
Yes.
And so you have an organization of people. How does it work for you?
No, not really. Actually, all the cooking is done home by me, which I'm appealing for ability, because I really started out with like 20, and now I'm actually a little over 100. The space is so limited, but I do what I have to do to meet the needs of others. Before I came here, I've got all my stuff. I have to rush back home now to get out for 7:30.
You didn't leave the oven on, did you?
No, I did. I made sure that I turned off everything.
Just checking.
I made sure.
But you've been able to rope in Sheldon. And so, Sheldon, your decision to join the Fishers of Men charity, what led you to that?
Well, through the years, I first came out with Sharon in 2015. And through the years, I've heard of all of the work that Sharon would have done. And so I'm actually happy to be a part of it, because this is something, as she says, this is something that she does once a week, once a month. This is something that is a constant every single day. And I've gotten the opportunity to be up close and to see exactly how Sharon works. Sharon is out in rain, in storm. Back when we had the pandemic, Sharon's out doing this work constantly and consistently. So I'm just happy to be a part of all this happening at this time.
Can you do the same?
Well, if push comes to shove, I am positioned to do the work, definitely.
Men and men in need. Let's talk a little bit about that. What do you see out there in terms of the number of men who are holding out their hand for assistance?
Well, as we look out over the landscape of Barbados, it is obvious to see that there is a constant rising of men and men in need. And you would have mentioned earlier, you know, there are a group of people, when they look, they begin to think that this person is out here because of a particular reason. Sharon alluded to it as well. But oftentimes there are different factors that lead to persons being out on the streets. And so you've got to be cognizant of that and be willing to be that helping hand where it needs to be.
So Sharon, knowing all of that there are different reasons why there are people in need. And sometimes they look like you or me, but they're still in need. How do you hear the story? Feeding is one thing. How do you feed the mind? How do you offer the fishing rod so they begin to fish for themselves?
I love what you said, because looking like me and you, well dressed, I had that situation at one point in my life where, because clothes is always something that I had and have. So I myself was in need. So sometimes I remember people coming to me. I don't ever listen to people. I remember having people coming up to me and say, Sharon, I see somebody you lying and they dress well. I said, but it doesn't matter, because looking at a person dressed well, as I told you, it happened to me once when it was actually down, but I had clothes. You understand? So some people are living from paycheck to paycheck. So I don't look at that. So I'm glad that God has given me a vision where I kept focused. I don't listen to no one. I listen to God.
But that person shares their story with you. They tell you something. In receiving the food and saying thank you, they also say, girl, you don't even know, and begin to talk. How do you now, once they begin to talk, channel that in such a way that they get relief?
Yes, sometimes it's really overwhelming because I cry very quick. So the stories, you know, that you hear from these people, sometimes I have to tell them it's okay. Because, you know, some people feel embarrassed, but I have to let them know to feel confident that I also, too, was in that position. So it's very easy for me to do what I do.
So has the need turned or shifted from just food alone, or are they looking for other things? What are they looking for?
Yes, they're looking for clothes. They're looking for their bills to be paid and stuff like that. I go into some homes that I know sometimes it made me cry. And actually all of my homes with these people, actually all of them have like more than 10 persons, 10 children. I remember one situation here that one of my clients, she has 10 children. 9 boys, 1 girl, and she went into the hospital hoping to have 1 and ended up with twins.
And now it doubled the burden, so to speak.
Doubled the burdens, yes.
So she has ends to meet, and sometimes you have to help meet those ends, or sometimes you do help meet those ends?
I meet every need. God has been so good to me that I have a lot of helpers, a lot of sponsors who, because, you know, to feed persons and then to take out hampers, that takes a lot of money. But I'm thankful for all of my sponsors who never get tired of me, because they see what I do, you understand, and I don't depend on my sponsors. I get up every day, go to work, because when I go to where I works at the fish market, people say, Sharon, well, you went to work last night, well, you always sleeping, but when they get to find out what I do, they just leave me alone.
Yeah, and let you rest. And so how do you rest at night? Because sometimes the stories are so heavy on your heart. Can you sleep?
No, everyone asks me, sure, who you, when you just see, how you just see I'm still well, I still look well, but I actually don't really get sleep because my mind is focused. I never get up one day yet and said, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And thank God that he kept me, keep me, you know, because sometimes you can be tired. I only get tired after I do what I have to do.
Yeah, it's when you stop
So
that you feel the tired.
Yes, it's strength from God. It's not me, because I believe if I had to do it in my own strength, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so given the need, Sheldon, you know how vast the need is. Obviously, you need help. So how can we Barbadians help?
Okay, well, you can reach out to us, reach out to Sharon directly via her number or by the email address SharonBellamyThompson@gmail.com. As stated, the need is very vast, constantly growing. From day to day, there's always a shift, a change. From time to time, you might find, as Sharon says, you might find a straggler, you might see a new face from time to time. And so that need is constantly and consistently growing. Yeah. And so we always need help. We can always reach out and always be a partner and be a blessing to the people that need it.
And because the need is much more than food now, you know, you can give as whatever you can. And so for those, do you have a setup where if people want to give money, can we make it into a donation to a bank or something? Or you're not yet there at that point?
Yes, I'm at CIBC. Yes, but I can't remember the number of.
That's all right. Life is great. Fishes of Men charity.
Yes, Fishes of Men charity.
With CIBC, just walk into the bank, talk to the folks, and they'll apply the money where it needs to go.
Yes.
Indeed, and because it's important, I think. You can do only so much, but money can help you go much further.
Much further.
And that's why I think each of us is called upon, because there but for the grace of God go I. None of us knows when it could happen to us. Pat Ben says, thanks to Sharon, and she says, my darling, thank you for your service to those in need, Fishers of Men. And so people are watching this saying, yeah, thanks. But let's do thanks in a tangible way. You need clothing. Clothing, I suppose, for children, for adults, men and women. You also need funds to be able to provide in the way that you can as well. Food items. You said you go from parish to parish to parish to collect?
Yeah. No, from parish to parish to deliver.
Oh, to deliver?
To deliver, yes.
Oh, okay.
Should have some pictures there if you can show them a little.
Do we have some pictures for us? I want to see what it is that you do. And so you go as far as St. Lucie?
Yes, St. Lucie, back to St. Philip. And I told you day before, there 2 days last
here it
week.
is. Here it is. I mean, and we don't want to say whose names it is. We want to respect their dignity. But there it is. You're making contributions pouring into the lives of people in need, from children, giving them the things that we take for granted. Oftentimes, that's what we do. We assume that everyone has cereal. We assume that everyone has sugar, milk, flour, whatever it is. And so you're saying, no, your reality is that people are saying, I don't even have those things. I don't even have a pack of biscuits to be able to have something to chew on to start my day. And I started with biscuits this morning, by the way. Today was a biscuit day. And so I understand how that is for a lot of people. When you're hungry, you become miserable.
Yes.
And we want people not to live in misery. And so you responded to that biblical call to be fishers of men. And I like the fact that you're doing it so very well, Sharon. You've not given up. How many years again?
35 years.
35 years that you've been doing this, and you've not grown tired. So Gina Millington says, Sharon, keep up the good work. I have had an opportunity to see you in action. And because you saw that, Gina, tell others about it. But you know, Gina, let words now become something meaningful. Let's see if we can help Sharon reach even more than she can indeed. From parish to parish she goes to bring relief to many as well. So Gina, thanks for your insight and thanks for your comments as well. So once again, you can go into CIBC, any branch of CIBC, ask to make a contribution, a deposit into the account in the names of Fishers of Men, the charity, or you can contact by email SharonBellamyThompson@gmail.com. You know where she works. You know where she works. You see her often commenting about fish catch. And so she works at the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex. Find stall number 4. And you can find Sharon Bellamy Thompson there, and you can share in what you can as well. Don't turn up because you have a need alone. Turn up to make a donation. Turn up to make a donation. All right, so we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll take a look at some other work that Sharon and her charity has and why you should be a part of it. We'll be right back after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Sometimes our need causes us to be blinded by our own pride. And so we're saying to you today, if you need help, reach out. Fishers of Men, the charity, is also doing a lot for itself. And so I want to talk to Sharon a little bit about, recently you received an award. You know which one I'm talking about?
That one was I can't remember them.
Because
the latest one, the St. Michael's, I think that's the regathering.
The regathering?
Yes.
Did you receive anything from the president?
Yes, I did another award, and that made it 3 awards from her, but 25 awards
In total
locally
so far?
and internationally.
So this award that you're receiving here,
that was the Independence one 2 years ago.
a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And so what did it mean to you to be recognized in this way and to be pinned by the president of Barbados?
It was a wonderful experience. I never went in this looking to be pinned or nothing like that, but so it just happened. And I love Dame Sandra Mason, and I was honored to be pinned by her 3 times.
Wow, you're so lucky. So very fortunate indeed. But there's a Christmas party coming up. I know every year you do this as well for the children. Talk to me about it.
Yes, well, this Christmas party will be held on New Year's Day at Weymouth Grounds.
This Thursday?
This Thursday that's coming. And I'm catering for actually 500 children from everywhere. You can just bring your children. There'll be loads of fun, surprises, lots of food and stuff like that.
So if you look at the screen now from last year, you had different characters. Are you going to have similar characters coming to entertain the children?
Yes, we're going to have more characters. We're having 20 jumping tents. We're having rides and stuff like that. The kids name the cartoon characters, and I get them.
And you respond?
For different. Yes.
Girl, you do a lot. You do a lot. So it's this Thursday on the grounds of at Weymouth. What time?
Starts from 1 to 7 p.m.
1 till nightfall. And so we want to bring the children. Is it open to every child in Barbados?
Yes, every child. I don't discriminate. I remember a couple of days ago, a lady was saying to me, Sharon, you have it back at Weymouth again for them tongue children. She said, listen, cut it right out. I said children, not you, so you don't tell me who I am supposed to bring. Everyone in my books is special to me. No one is different.
Yeah. So children, whether you're from north, south, east, or west, it's not just for town children. It's for every child in Barbados. It's free, and so you have an opportunity to come and meet these characters, and while there, you get some snow cone and the cotton candy, the things that children tend to love. And so it's a give back. Yes. To the children of Barbados.
Make them feel special, because I know there were some kids who really didn't have a Christmas. And I made sure this year, because even me, when we were children, we just had one ham. It was very small, but this time, hams are very expensive. So I made sure every one of my clients had a ham. They have their children. I was at that stage in life when I needed someone to give my mother a ham. Don't mind, it just lasts half of the day because she really couldn't afford it. But I am so happy, and I want to thank all my sponsor, Co-op Barbados, who has really poured into Fishers of Men Charity, and I want to say a big thank you. I want to share this. I remember at one of the parties I saw a group of little children standing up, so I went over to them and said, why are you not on the rise? They say, Auntie Sharon, we don't have no money. So, you know, seeing all of these rides and all of these jumping tents, you know, because every time you see these at different like parties or fairs, you will have to pay. But I thank God for my great sponsors and who has provided that for these kids. Because you too was a child, me too was a child, and I'm so happy and privileged.
Sheldon was a child too.
Yes,
And
Sheldon was a child. And I also want to thank, sorry, not crossing, a lady in the US, Marcia. She came to one of my parties, I think it was last year. So it's very important when people invite people. And someone was talking to me and they said, I'm sure, how do you get the popcorn machine? I said, well, Julie lend it for that day. And lo and behold, like a month or two after, I saw this big letter in this big write in my WhatsApp, and I saw 6 barrels, and I was like, what's this? And the person was saying, Sharon, I heard your story, I heard your plea, you were talking to a lady, and I sent you 2 popcorn machines, 2 cotton candy machines, and I was so scared to receive those barrels because I know you can be trapped in barrels. So I went over to the police station. I told them, you know, I do charitable work, and here is 6 barrels coming to me, and I need you to accompany me. And I want to thank Marcia. She sent me loads of stuff that the kids, so now nobody don't have to give me any cotton candy machines. And not only did she send one, because she see all of those children, which I really appreciate it, because one popcorn machine cannot do justice for 500 kids.
You're right.
So I want to say thank you to her.
It almost brought you to tears just now, just talking about it.
Yes, I am. My tears really flow when I...
The generosity of people, and so that's what it's all about. And so, Sheldon, I'm sure you want to appeal to others to be a part of the charity as best as they can, to not just give, but to be, you need hands, you need workers to get this done.
Yeah, definitely. As stated, the need is forever growing. And so you can come out and be a part of this great work. As Sharon says, she does all of the cooking. So nobody really has to deal with that at that level, but definitely we need hands, we need volunteers, we need persons who are going to position themselves to be that support, so that we could carry on this great work that we are doing at this time.
Indeed so. Stall number 4, the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex, is where you're going to find Sharon Bellamy Thompson. You can go to CIBC, any branch of CIBC, and ask to make a deposit to the charity Fishers of Men. They'll take your money and make a deposit into it, or you can send an email to SharonBellamyThompson@gmail.com to indicate your donation, your interest in and your donation to the cause, the Fishers of Men charity. Let's, as a community, come together in 2026 to make a real difference in reducing the need that we see, and that need is great. One charity alone cannot do it. We can all do it together as a community indeed. And so to you, Sharon, we say thank you for your charity and your generosity and your kindness and your care for our community. And to you, Sheldon, as well, thank you for joining with the organization to lend and give it greater impetus as well. And wish you well in 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Morning Barbados takes a break here. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end. And what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solaray microbiome probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One. Your number one party.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're continuing looking at the spirit of community giving, and there are organizations that spring up and there are organizations that have gone the test of time. And so one of those organizations that has stood that test of time is the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust, and they're giving, and in their appeal we often hear the big numbers because that need is so vast. And so we're happy to sit today with the big men of the Eden Lodge Charitable Trust. Next to me is the president and CEO in himself, Mr. Dwayne Grisette. Next to him is the secretary, Keel Trotman, and across from me is the treasurer, the man who operates the checkbook and everything else, Rico Bradshaw. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Happy New Year in advance, first of all, to all of you. Heaven forbid I'll be here still, and I really want you to really have a good year 2026. Let's talk a little bit, Dwayne, because you've been doing this for a little while now.
Yes.
Tell me, what is it that inspired you to form the organization?
At the age of 12, I was in my community, Eden Lodge, and they had another organization called the Eden Lodge Development Council. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to do community work, so I used to go out in the school to see how I could help and stuff like that. And the then president that used to run me out to me said, "You're a child," and I get annoyed. And I was talking to another young person like myself, Tracy, and I said, "Tracy, let me form a youth group for us that we could do stuff in the community." And so we started with the dancing group and stuff like that in the Eden Lodge Community Center. We even went to NIFCA and all that. And then after that, like when I was going to school, I had children who went to school with me who couldn't get lunch. They couldn't get to school. Some would not be able to go to school because the parents had no bus fare and stuff like that. So then, I started to do bus tickets. At that time, they had bus tickets. Mm-hmm. So I started to raise a little funding, and we started to do bus tickets, and it then grew from there. And then, we used to go on excursions a group of us had June Smith, now who's deceased, who was Jamila's mother, who would come with me because we used to have to get an adult. And, I used to do like the community things on the playing field, like little concerts and pageants and those different kind of things. Because I always wanted to give back to the community, and I always wanted to, because back in the day, I don't know if anybody would know, my uncle was terrible, Don Grisette. And
that's a good way, right? In a good way.
No, badly.
Okay.
Right? And, morning time, the police used to come and all that.
Don't talk too far.
And I said, you know what? I don't want this for my mother. I don't want my mother to go through this.
And so you learned from that example.
From that example.
You should set yourself on a good path.
Yes.
And so charity is what you do.
Yes, please.
And so, but what I also like about what you do is that you're so creative. You come up with all sorts of concepts and ideas in being able to fill the charity with what it needs to be able to give to others as well.
Yes.
And so over the years, I know we've had Soccer Goes Gold, which is the biggest thing in Barbados. A lot of people can't wait to see. Talk to me about the origins of that.
Because, I'm involved in entertainment and in the arts. And I said, I could use my expertise in that area in an effort to raise funding for the charity, as opposed to having all the time have to go there and ask and beg people for stuff and not be able to give back something to them for their money. So I said, we could do a fundraising event that'll be able to capture what we want to capture, and also to be able to get the entertainers and the service providers and all that to be able to give back something to the persons in the communities, because we have to remember that these children, these young people, and these children are our future, and they are the generation next. So with our organization, apart from doing the Christmas program and stuff like that, we try to help build these young people into responsible adults and responsible citizens, and in trying to get them to do the education and stuff like that. Because over the years, I would have been able to, through this organization, be able to capture youngsters that wouldn't have gotten anything because they didn't have the learning utensils to be able to complete their education. So we have been able to do that, and then I see now them working in offices now. So when companies, we go to companies, and ask for contributions to help send to school a child, that child then may be your accountant, that child may be your receptionist, that child may be a great human resource capital within your company, right? So it is not about just giving, it's also investing in these futures and in your business as well.
Right. And I agree with you, because you give that an opportunity, the young person an opportunity, but that puts a lot of pressure on you guys, Keel, because the need is so great, and you do more than just give food vouchers or give back to school items as well. As Dwayne just said, you provide classes and opportunity, you monitor the children as well, but then they're also calling on you, the organization, all the time for some help. As a secretary, how do you manage the need, because it comes at you?
Okay, so the morning in person, from the secretariat aspect, so the organization receives numerous phone calls. We're currently closed for the time being, but we still receive those phone calls, we still receive those messages, where persons are saying basic things, especially around this time of the year. Something as common or as little as gas. We receive...
This is cooking gas.
Yes, please. We receive those requests. And for me, I like to see when the organization is in a position to meet all of our needs. We are not there as yet, but we rely heavily on corporate Barbados to assist us in meeting those simple requests and to help those young people who are in their need, to make them put a smile on their face and to give them that opportunity that I've been able to have as in terms of a level of education and something to eat on their table.
Mm-hmm. The name says Eden Lodge Youth Charitable. A lot of times people think, oh, it's just for the folks in Eden Lodge alone, but that's not the case.
No, please. Eden Lodge Youth Charitable because it started in Eden Lodge, but we are across the country. We go as north as St. Lucie and far as south.
We can't get any more north than St. Lucie. You'll be heading somewhere else. So you cover the entire island.
Yes, please.
And so because you see the need all over the island, how many people how many requests for need do you see generally? Giving him an average?
If you do families, roughly average about 500. But we are growing every single year.
And the family comprises more than just one. So that even within that 500 requests, there are multiple numbers of people who have to benefit from that.
Average about two children, in terms of family, and then you still have their mother. So you may have a household of 3, or sometimes a household of 4. You may have a single parent. I shouldn't say mother because it could be both mother or father, with a household with 3 children.
So in other words, it's thousands of people you reach every single year to make a difference, not just with food, but with education and support and all the rest of it. And so, Rico, handling the budget here now, because with that vast need, and gratefully you have the Soko Goes Gold as one of your injections in, but there's so many other people who give back to the organization as well. So how do you manage the need knowing that there's this financial need that you have to meet?
Yes, it's indeed a challenging process sometimes, especially when the initiatives and programs and just like Soko Goes Gold that you try to execute to at least cover the expenses and the needs of these people, because what we do during the Christmas program is to give out vouchers. Every family, some people may do food hampers, but for us, why we do the vouchers is because every household doesn't eat the same thing.
Correct.
A lot of people are allergic to a lot of different foods, etc. And what we try to do is build enough income in terms of donations and so forth, and through those initiatives like Soko Goes Gold as well, try to raise as much funds to meet the target that we set at the start of the year. So last year we would have probably done like close to 800 families, but this year we would have provided to over 1,000 families this year, right? So the numbers keep growing. Daily, as Keel say, we receive calls. I remember as recent, like 2 days ago, Dwayne called me because somebody reached out to him, but the charity now is on vacation for the Christmas period, but then we start back guns rolling from January. So every day, literally, someone either sends a message on social media, call the charity office, or call Dwayne directly, because sometimes they receive Dwayne's number directly, right?
See, Dwayne is the face of it. Yes. They call the face of it.
They call the face, right? But the managing aspect of the financials, we have to make sure for sure that the targets that we set, we try to make, and then as well covering, as I mentioned before, all those different expenses. And we want to thank the sponsors that we had this year, because once we start to build a relationship with them, they offer us discounts. Some of them give it for free as well too. So then it lessens the burden on our financials at the end of the day.
I want to profile the need for just a moment, and I'll do that right after this break, folks.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 9 to 7 o'clock now. I know we're talking to the Eden Lodge Charitable Trust because we're looking at giving in the community indeed. And this is one organization that has been doing this for years. It's very well recognized. It's very well organized as well. And so many thousands of you have benefited in significant way from the work that they do. But Soccer Goes Gold is the biggest thing. We tend to remember them because that's the one that has captured the imagination and the fun part of a lot of us indeed. And so when you purchase a ticket for Soccer Goes Gold, it goes into the efforts that they raise. But you ask yourself sometimes, how does it do? How does it do? How does it do, Rika?
Well, this year we would have made a loss, right? Because as you know, in producing any event, you have overheads that you have to cover. And not everyone is going to come forward and say, we're going to sponsor it in full. We have to rely on the labor, especially. Like some people will say, Dwayne, I'm going to give my service to you, but I still have to pay the men that come and do the work, right? So we still have those overheads to cover, and we didn't meet the target of attendees that we wanted to. So then, therefore, we would have ended up in a loss position. But as I said before, we are grateful for the sponsors and donors that we have, that we are able then to pick up the slack because we've received donations throughout the entire year.
Yeah, but no one likes to hear shortfalls.
Yeah,
because in doing the charitable work you're doing, shortfalls are not what you want to hear. You always want to be able to have enough to give because need is so great. And so given all of that then, what's the plan for 2026 so that one, we don't have shortfalls, or two, that we're able to, even if there's a shortfall, it doesn't break the bank, so to speak?
I want to thank the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust and the Amaroon Foundation because they are one of our, two of our biggest donors today. And luckily for us, this year, Sandy Lane understood what happened, and they came and helped us meet some of the shortfall. What was the major issue this year was the events, and then, we were given the venue at a discounted price, but then all of because they said the venue was, you can get this and that in the venue, and when we went, then after that, we had to then increase putting lighting towers and this thing and that thing, and everybody's not going to want to give you it totally for free. So then there were some expenses that were creeping up, and then we have to balance it with the numbers. And this year, people see a crowd, but this year we did not do the numbers that we wanted to do because I had nominations, then I had the president.
There were other competing events.
Another competing events that were happening around the city. Although we brought up the event from not clashing with the football, because it clashed with the football last year, and that was a deterrent factor. So there's a lot of different things that come into play, right? And and then you have people who just don't want to come for whatever reason, because they feel that when they come in to support the event, they're supporting Dwayne Grisette or they're supporting Keel, but they're not supporting us. They're helping somebody that is their neighbor. They're also helping to defer somebody from saying, well, you know what, I ain't got a hand for my child or whatever, and they can go out there and do something stupid, steal, whatever. These are the things that they are preventing from happening, right? And So it is not about us. We are just the avenue or the channel, you know, to get to the people. Because with our program, like years ago, you know, like as Rico said before, what we do in terms of the vouchers. The reason why we do vouchers is because we ain't bringing the body net for potatoes. You get these things, then you got package them in bags, and you go into somebody's house with a bag, and then what you're also doing is that you're creating a level of embarrassment for some of these people.
Yes,
right?
Respecting their dignity.
Their dignity.
Yes.
And then about 10, 15 years ago, I was like, well, we giving people hampers or we giving people vouchers.
Right.
But we ain't studying how these people can cook these things.
Yeah, and you're right. The need is great. So what's the plan for it? Thanks. So first of all, thanks for Bruce and Barry. That was a master stroke for Soccer Goes Gold. That has been the conversation right through coming out of Soccer Goes Gold.
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I always like to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah, you did.
Right, and when I'm doing an event or anything of that nature, I think about the patrons who come. The patrons who come are the most important thing.
You know, the timing of it was so important because the documentary was on showing Bruce in one light, and then bam, he's on the stage. So it was a master stroke, I think, and that created, I hope, for a buzz for people to come to the next edition of Soccer Goes Gold, because you never know what doing is going to pop out of the bag. But what's on the plan for 2026? Can you tell me what it, Keel? What's the calendar of events that you're having, or what's the approach going to be like? Do you know?
Well, as a body, we haven't yet met for 2026. But for sure, the public, you can look forward for Soccer Goes Gold 8, something different, bigger. And for sure, to corporate Barbados, is that we will be back knocking on your door again for 2026.
Rico likes the sound of that. I tell you, Rico, because that's important indeed to be able to do. Because we need to feed into the charity, so the charity can feed out other people as well. And so that donation is important for us. That turning up for the Soccer Goes Gold events, that's also important. Because the need, they're called by thousands of people every single day to meet a particular need, whether it is be food, gas, some bill that they need met. And so when we do what we do in support of, we are able to help those who cannot help themselves. And so they don't just give those things or in kind, they do classes as well. So if your child needs some classes as well, contact them for that too, and see how we can empower our children to be able to be better citizens as they grow by empowering them through education and knowledge. That is perhaps the greatest gift one can give to someone we love so very dearly indeed. And so as the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust appeals, we want to appeal to you today to give and support. Indeed, it is not about Dwayne Grisette. It is about those who benefit from the charitable trust. Indeed, and so that's very, very important for you to be able to. So, if we want to make a donation into the charity, can we make it to the bank? Can we do that, Rico?
Yes. Our charity doesn't like to take cash. We want you to, because we are transparent, and we want everybody has to know where your money gone.
Right.
Right. You do it through. You could do a check, or you could do a transfer to our account at CBC Bank. You can even do first pay to 1246-851 at 4172.
851-4172. I know, we don't call our own numbers. 851-4172. First pay to that indeed. Or go to CIBC and make the donation there.
Yes, you can.
Right.
Or you can call our office, right, at 572-4170 or 71. And you can speak to anyone there, or you can email us at info@elycharitabletrust.org. Or you can look for us on social media.
I was just going to say that because that's a lot of information to consume.
We have a website and everything.
So find them on socials, go online and look for the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust. follow all the links that take you to where you need to give, and give generously, folks, because the need truly is great. Gentlemen, thank you. Dwayne Grisette, the President and CEO of the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust, Keel Trotman, their Secretary, and Rico Bradshaw, their Treasurer. Indeed, gentlemen, great work you're doing. Well done, and all the best for 2026.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for having me.
We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's look at the news now. Barbados' agriculture sector recorded double-digit growth so far for 2025, despite major setbacks caused by flooding. That's according to Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security Indar Ware. He told CBC News that the sector grew by 10.1% by the end of the third quarter, keeping it on track to meet its targets and setting this stage for further gains in the final quarter of the year. Here's a report from Trevor Thorpe.
The Agriculture Minister said the growth was achieved even after severe flooding in October and November, which led to crop losses for some farmers. He noted that the sector was also able to overcome several challenges carried over from the previous year, resulting in overall expansion across agriculture. Mr. Ware highlighted strong performance in root crops and confirmed that the poultry sector has rebounded following difficulties experienced last year.
Overall, we've done well across the entire sector. So that 10.1% growth at the end of the third quarter is good. Of course, you know, we had some problems with floods between October and November, and some farmers lost their crops. So I'm waiting to see what the last quarter will be like. But I still have high hope that we should come out pretty well at the end of the last quarter.
Mr. Ware stated that the opening of Carmida's retail store at Grove St. Philip provides a significant boost to the agricultural sector. It is already benefiting farmers.
We're looking to now give contracts to most of the farmers in the feed program, because you do know that when we started the feed program in 2018, farmers were brought into the program, but they still had to find market space because the BADMC was only taking 40% of their produce. I'm pleased to note now that we're doing contracts where we're taking all of the produce, so that our farmers in the feed program will have a better opportunity now to be able to find market space. And through that house, I think we're going to be able to do a tremendous amount.
As far as poultry farming goes, Mr. Ware says developments put that subsector in good stead.
The poultry sector, for example, we're now going to have tunnels that can produce 50,000 birds. You have 3 of those coming on stream next year. You're talking 150,000 birds, and this is only one poultry farmer. We have a second major farmer that will be doing a similar thing. So overall, we expect to see significant growth going into 2026 in poultry.
Mr. Ware says the sector's growth and promising outlook means Barbados agriculture is entering a new phase of increased production. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Rudy Maloney, the president of the Barbados Entertainment Association, has called for more party venues to become available. In an interview with CBC News, he said one of the rising challenges is access to different venues. And he says he hopes that this can be addressed in 2026, as they hope to have early dialogue with the stakeholders for crop over.
I think we need more venues in Barbados because
is becoming a challenge using the same venues and pricing going up, and people don't want certain events to be at particular venues, etc. So I think we need more venues. That's important. We look to stick with the major stakeholders and start to have early dialogue so that we don't have to wait till October is on us to start talking about the things that are happening or hampering the industry.
He says that from the reports that he's received, 2025 has been a successful year for entertainment.
For artists, service providers, persons that provide services like hairdressers, etc., I think they have had a pretty good season based on from the entertainment industry. Our patrons also had a number of events to attend. So I think it was a pretty good year. All we are asking for it to happen is that some of the taxes and other stuff be reduced so that we can continue to produce quality events.
Barbadians started their holiday shopping later than usual this year, waiting until the final days before Christmas to hit the stores. That observation from Paul Ennis, president of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He told CBC News that sales were slow in the early part of December, but that changed by mid-month.
Initial reports and feedback from our retail and distribution sectors indicate that retailers reported an uptick in sales during the Christmas rush, I would say the 10 days just before Christmas. The distribution channels reflected some increase in activity as it relates to festive food items, and overall holiday trading in Barbados display some level of resilience with strategic stocking late season surges and steady food and gift categories offsetting softer earlier activity.
The BCCI official also said that despite higher prices for imported goods, demand for traditional Christmas staples like pork and fish remained high. Overall, he said the late uptick in sales provided a welcome boost to retailers.
Despite early caution, given the slow start to the season, Barbados retail and distribution sectors demonstrated adaptability, ensuring customers could access the products and traditions that define the island's festive season.
Returning nationals say Barbados Christmas traditions have changed over the years, even though they're still enjoying the festive spirit. Earlier this year, and every year, Barbadians living overseas returned home to spend the holiday with the family. And yesterday, Christmas in the Trevor's Way regathering event. Several of those returning nationals shared with us their observation on how the festive season has evolved.
A lot has changed. I think the younger generation don't really appreciate Christmas like the older people. We live for Christmas.
I feel like there are fewer decorations. Like, you know, there used to be the bonnets. You used to look forward to the districts really decorating and elaborate decorations for Christmas. But there are little pockets of decorations all over, like here on Trevor's Way and in Queen's Park and Independence Square. So that's a nice thing to see.
Oh, it is such a great change but really and truly, I come up a long time ago and I miss the cutting of the arrows and making up your bed. I miss the tuck band on Christmas morning. They come to your house and wake you up. You come out there and you're naughty and ready to welcome them. It's a whole lot, but it is better now, and I am truly enjoying it.
Let's look at sports now. A ruling in a Johannesburg High Court is expected to have far-reaching significance for cricketers in the West Indies and the world. The court has ruled against Cricket South Africa and in favor of national player Tabraiz Shamsi in a landmark judgment which will be debated around the world for the global game for its potential implications, specifically for freelance cricketers. A report now from Mark Seal.
Shamsi, the left-arm wrist spinner who has played 127 international matches across formats, withdrew his contract with MI Cape Town in the SA20 earlier this year in order to take up offers in other T20 leagues overseas, specifically the ILT20 in the UAE, the Big Bash League in Australia, and the Caribbean Premier League. Shamsi was signed by MI Cape Town in September's SA20 auction, but successfully sought a release from his contract, citing personal reasons, but breached the terms of his auction agreement in doing so. The SA20 formally accepted the repudiation of his contract in November. Shamsi then signed for Gulf Giants and was granted an initial no objection certificate by CSA, which only ran until December 19th. That was midway through the ILT20 and just before the start of the SA20's competition window. As a result, he sought an urgent interim relief in the High Court of South Africa after talks for an extension stalled. The court ruled in his favor. The court further directed Cricket South Africa to issue Shamsi with an extended no objection certificate for the ILT20 until January 4th. That's the date of the final. And also ordered the board to pay his legal costs. The CSA has since granted him a separate NOC to cover his Big Bash League contract. Now, the issuing of no objection certificates has become an increasing contentious subject in recent years, as there are so many franchise tournaments around the world. And this judgment creates a precedent that could embolden other players to seek permission to play overseas during their respective home seasons. The ICC currently requires players to obtain an NOC from their relevant national governing body before they are permitted to appear in a domestic tournament or franchise league overseas. Boards have generally been reluctant to offer NOCs to players who would otherwise be available to play in domestic cricket in their own country.
And that's news. Until now, we'll have more news at 12 noon right here on CBC TV8. Morning Barbados is back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Mornin Barbados news is brought to you by Jordan Supermarkets Spend and Eat 2025 competition.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 minutes after 7 o'clock now as Morning Barbados just goes on. Today, the 29th, we have a couple more days before brand new year. 2026 comes a-calling indeed. So what's your plan for the Old Year's Night? That big, remember, we have a fete happening at Pelican, and you have to be there to watch the sunrise and to welcome the new year as well at Pelican with a very special cue in the community Old Year's Night dance indeed. But how did the year go for the Barbados Fire Service, and what can we expect for 2026 in terms of how they respond and the cues and clues that they want us to pay closer attention to? And joined by Station Officer Damien Bain of the Barbados Fire Service. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Pearson, and good morning, Barbados.
How was your Christmas?
It was quiet but enjoyable.
Is that a typical Christmas to you? Quiet but enjoyable?
Yes, I tend to spend my Christmas with my family.
We all do.
Yes.
But isn't there a riot when the family comes together?
Not necessarily. They're good behaved. They're good behaved.
Oh, you're happy to be born in that family there, right?
Yes, please.
You should join mine, my friend. And we have such laughter and so much fun, but food and fellowship, that's all it's about. But there are many things when it comes to Christmas that we tend not to pay attention to, and I'll look at those in just a moment. But I want to look first at all, because of where you sit. What are the stats saying in terms of the number of blazes we've had to handle throughout the year?
Okay, so when we looked at the statistics between January 1st to 20th of December, yesterday, we realized that there is a reduction in the number of incidents that we would have responded to in the area of house fires, commercial building fires, and also derelict house fires. So for us, that is a pretty good trend, downward trend. and we want to pretty much give the public a pat on the back for adhering to a lot of the safety precautionary messages that we've been putting into the public domain throughout the year.
All right. In terms of the grass fires and so forth, because I haven't seen a lot of those. Maybe it's me, but
well, no. Actually, so the statistics have shown us that there is an increase of grass fires and rabbit fires as well. So, considering that we are now transitioning from the wet season into the dry season as we go into January, February, we want to encourage the public to desist from the indiscriminate burning, because they tend to get out of control sometimes, and that can lead to the massive wildfires that we can see across the island. As it relates to the fires, the motor vehicle fires pretty much on par with 2024, but those were the major changes in terms of upward and downward trends. The structural fires trended downwards, but the grassland rubbish trended upwards when we compare 2024 to 2025.
Sometimes we take for granted that I could put two cans close together in the heat and they should live happily ever after, but sometimes that creates combustion, doesn't it?
Yes, and you know, we really would prefer if persons would dispose of their refuge through the Sanitation Service Authority or one of the private haulers, especially if it's bulk waste. We want to encourage them not to burn it, because in addition to impacting, let's say, the surrounding neighbors and the district, it also has an environmental impact as well. When the smoke goes into the atmosphere, the smoke can impact persons who are suffering with respiratory illnesses and stuff like that. So as we are now going into that phase, this is actually a message to them to desist from the indiscriminate burning.
But you don't live at me. There's someone who will say that to you, and I don't have the money to trim this grass or to trim those trees, whatever the case may be. So I will do what I have to do to make sure that they're not becoming my eyesore. And you're saying don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because in the dry season it gets really, really hot, but it can also get quite windy as well.
And quite windy, yes. And that then causes those fires to get out of control. And then it causes us to spend a lot of resources then having to extinguish those very large wildfires that you may see from time to time. So if we can get the public to buy into the concept of responsibly disposing of the refuge, then we will see a further reduction in those fires as well.
What are the challenges that the fire service faces when it comes to those calls to come deal with whether it's a garbage fire or grass fire?
Some of the challenges may stem from access to begin with. We find that some of the persons park indiscriminately as well. Access to the fire itself, because you could appreciate that we have a rural part of the country, that access to some of those areas will not be as easy as it would be in the urban section or quarters of Barbados. So those are some of the challenges we face. And in addition to that, as you mentioned, when the wind speeds are pretty high, and wind speeds direction does change as well. So that presents a challenge in terms of the extinguishment of those fires as well.
But your tankers will come with water.
Yes,
to
of course.
Extinguish. But there are times the blaze is so large you have to replenish. How do you know, how can we know, I would know where the fire hydrant is, for instance?
Well, the fire hydrants are located on the ground, one. The plates are rectangular and they're labeled FH.
Okay.
In some areas you may also see a square yellow label with the H in black, right, on maybe someone's house or on one of the utility poles as well. Within the city, they're labeled with a blue marking on the ground that is reflective. So those are some of the ways you can identify the hydrants within the country.
There was a time when hydrants, these cylindrical things next to the road, and that's a fire hydrant, and you just come, you put on your nozzle and you go.
Yes.
But you don't do that anymore.
There are some of those that exist within the country, but they're in the minority.
In the minority?
Yes.
All right. Every little child is fascinated by the work that you do. Every one little boy wants to grow up to be a fire officer. You're smiling because you perhaps are one of those boys, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, the life of a fire officer.
Let's say it is rewarding. I would encourage persons to get into the line of work in terms of firefighting for the love of it. Oftentimes the hours are long and we're called to pretty much respond to anything, any issue that any person may have, regardless to if it is fire or not. We tend to get calls for anything. because we're one of the most responsive agencies as it relates to emergencies. In that case, if you want to be of service to people, then the fire service is the job for you.
And you have fire cadets?
And we have fire cadets as well.
Do they generally transition into fire service?
We've had a few transition to the fire service, yes, in recent years. And that is one of the long-term goals, to structure the course in such a way that it becomes a feeder program for the fire department in the long run.
In this structured course, how long does it take me before I graduate?
Well, you join the program in the summer, which is our summer program. And once you're successful, then you transition then into being a senior fire cadet. And that takes you through a number of different disciplines and areas that you then further develop in the area of fire safety, fire prevention, so that by the time you either exit the program or you decide that you want to join the fire service, you have a fundamental understanding of our department, our culture, the way we do things, and the standards that are acceptable not only within our department, but within society as well.
You spoke earlier about not just simply responding to either residential or commercial fires alone, but you're called on for a lot of emergencies. What other types of emergencies would people be calling for the fire service?
So, for example, we respond to motor vehicle accidents, rescues, low angle and high angles. For example, if someone falls into a well. We also provide services in the area of training. We also conduct inspections for the commercial buildings. We do plan reviews. There are a number of different areas and services that we provide outside of what you or the public will be accustomed to when they see the fire truck responding with the sirens and the beacons. Our scope has expanded a lot over the years, and it just isn't simply confined to emergency response as well.
There are things, we're looking for Old Year's Night coming up. December 31st, and so fireworks are going to be a part of that activity indeed. What is your caution to all of us?
Well, with regards to the fireworks, we tend to carry out inspections of all the areas where fireworks are being conducted. The company that is responsible for discharging the fireworks, they're pretty high on safety as well. So we don't generally have a lot of concerns as it relates to fireworks. What we would encourage the public to do is to just obey the instructions of those persons who are managing the event and ensure that they keep themselves at a safe distance while the fireworks are being discharged.
But even with that's fireworks, that's one element. With the Old Year Nights activities now, you want power. You're plugging in everywhere because you want to make sure that everything is powered up. What are the dangers?
Well, the overloading of circuits obviously is an issue. You're now asking the electrical outlet to pretty much expend energy in a way that it was not built to. We would discourage persons from overloading the circuits. Just carry out some general checks of your electrical cards, ensuring that there is no breakage. Again, don't overload the circuits. And for any device that does not need to be electrically charged, then you disconnect it from the outlet if need be.
You know, we don't know that that's a problem until there is a problem.
Until there is a problem.
we see a plug, we figure you should be able to accommodate everything I plug in.
Yes.
And we're not aware of what the circuitry can actually manage. But you're saying to be careful of that.
Yes, and in addition to that, for the devices, so for example, cell phones, tablets, etc., follow the manufacturer's recommendations. The manufacturers will recommend what type of power card to use with the particular device when you're charging. Because when you swap and change, there's a potential that you're using a card that is not, doesn't meet the requirement for that particular device. You could appreciate that you're charging a battery, and at times the battery will get hot. So if you're using a power card that is not built for that particular device, you can either overheat the card or you can overheat the battery as well, and that can lead to disaster.
Speaking of batteries, I never knew this until some time ago. It happened to me. Cell phone in the pocket, keys in the pocket, everybody together in the pocket, and then I felt a burning.
Well, you could appreciate that the battery is storing energy. And because it's storing energy at some point in time, especially if you have a cover, a case, that case can trap some of the energy as well. and that may cause the battery to overheat. And these are things that you have to be mindful of.
Yes.
And that is why we encourage persons, and we know persons don't like to read instructions, but anytime you purchase a new device, you read the instructions and have an understanding of what the manufacturers recommend and how you should use the device and what the safety requirements are and what the potential hazards are when using that device.
Because we tend to want to sleep with it on the bed.
On the bed. You also charge the devices on the bed as well, which is also a potential hazard because again, the battery is taking on energy and the temperature can increase. And the bed is a combustible material, and therefore you can have an easy transfer of heat from the battery to the bed. And there goes your bed and potentially your house as well.
Or even you while you're lying there. And so I know a lot of you are watching and saying, but geez, I never thought of that. Well, me neither sometimes. So we'll take a break. We'll come back to share with you some of the things you perhaps did not think about, but that you need to start thinking about as it relates to fire safety and more. Right back after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're with Station Officer Damien Bain of the Barbados Fire Service. We're looking at fire hazards, how to avoid fire hazards, and what to do when we're met with a concern as well. And so the good news is that this is generally trending downwards. There's some areas of concern that the fire service has, and we want to be able to make work a lot easier for them as well. And so Station Officer Bain, let's look a little bit about some other things that we do at home. Guilty as charged, hand in the air. Leave on the fan because the house will be hot when I get back home and I want the house to be cooler.
Yes, so I would like to discourage you from doing that. Any device that is not required to be connected to the electrical outlet, you really should disconnect. The standing fan being one of them. You could appreciate that when you leave the fan running constantly, the motor is getting hot. And most of the fans are plastic. So let's assume that the motor overheats. It then transfers that heat to the plastic, which melts, and it could come in contact with maybe the carpet you have on the floor, and that is combustible. And when that occurs, then you can have the start of a major fire. So when you're leaving home, any device, we encourage you to just take a walk around the home, look around, see what devices are connected, like the chargers, the cell phones, the tablets, etc., and the fan, and disconnect them so that you know within your mind you have left these things unplugged, and they're likely not to cause a hazard because they're not connected to the electrical outlet.
You used the word unplugged. I said turn off. And you say it's more than just turning off your devices.
Yes, because as long as you're connected to the electrical outlet, you're drawing energy from the energy source. Now, if you disconnect it, you're no longer energized, and that reduces the hazard as well.
Yes, you leave the fridge plugged in. Should I unplug my microwave every time?
It depends.
Okay.
If you unplug it, you then reduce that particular risk as well. But if that is a major appliance within your home that you use regularly, maybe not. But you reduce the risk if you do.
All right. A power pack, I call it a power pack for a second, that area that you plug everything in, power supply, and we use power saving devices. for power surge.
Yes.
But not every device is a power surge appropriate device.
No. And this is why when you are purchasing equipment like that, you speak to the in-store persons to get more information on those devices to understand what it is that they do. Usually these devices are tested, and they're tested to ensure that what the manufacturers say they can do, they can actually perform. So before you run into the store and you take up anything with an additional 4 or 5 plugs, you go to you look at the back of the labeling and, again, read to understand what it is that the device is offering you, and to ensure that it has been tested by one of the agencies that carry out that type of function to ensure that it works the way it's supposed to work.
Don't just buy it because it looks cute.
No. Or cheap.
Or cheap. That's not what it's about indeed. So these cables and so forth, because sometimes you take a cable, an extension cord, you wrap it up, and not realize that over time that can wear it down, that can cause a breakage.
Cause a breakage, yes.
So how do I detect whether or not there is a breakage?
Sometimes it is visible to the eye. At times you may have to actually feel the cable. You may pick up on little lumps and stuff within the housing, because you could appreciate that the parts of the cable that actually transmit the energy are within the housing as well. But when you're using it as well, you would recognize that maybe your connection is falling in and out. And that is a pretty good indicator that the cable may be defective.
We're showing you on your screen, folks. It could look like that, but sometimes it doesn't look like that.
Yes.
But when it looks like that, that's the time to get rid of it.
There's an issue, yes.
There's a problem here. And don't plug in anything with that at all.
At all.
At all.
Have it replaced, and then you should be safe to carry on your function. Device.
Part of our functions generally, I'm using myself as a bit of a guinea pig here. The bulbs. One bulb blows, you climb, you don't have any rubber soled anything, you just go for it. You just go for it. You didn't switch anything off. It just went, you thought, let me just replace the bulb rather than switching off to switch back on. What's your recommendation?
Replacing a bulb should be relatively safe.
So
yes, you're safe.
Okay, just checking. The use of the pliers and the screwdrivers and so forth now to be able to change circuitry and stuff.
Then you should disconnect the energy from the panel. Circuits, yes.
Turn off the main.
Yes,
use
turn
the words
off
that
the
we
mains.
use.
Yes,
so turn off the main before you do all of that kind of work.
Yes, please.
Because?
Remember, metal now can conduct some level of electricity. So if you're using pliers and the area is energized, the potential for that energy to transfer then is pretty high. So you should take all safety precautions and de-energize the area first.
We're using a whole lot more smart bulbs that can turn themselves on, stay on for as long as we program them to be. Is that a safe thing to do? Or are there dangers there? Am I challenging you?
It's a very good question. See, the thing is that while, yes, it is convenient that the bulbs can turn on and off at convenience, remember that these things are also man-made as well, and they can become defective, so you must be mindful of that. The important thing is to, again, follow the manufacturer's recommendations as to when maybe you should change the bulb, how regularly you should check the bulb as well, and what are the requirements for checking the bulb too.
Right. Should every house have extinguishers, fire extinguishers?
Yes, please. A portable fire extinguisher is a very important piece of equipment within the household. Now, while we would put a lot of messages out there in terms of fire safety and what to do to prevent the fire, you should still have some type of mitigating factor as to what you will do if the fire should occur. And a portable fire extinguisher is a piece of equipment that if something should occur, you should be trained in how to use it to extinguish the fire if one should occur as well.
This one here, what's this for? Commercial?
So this is a carbon dioxide extinguisher. First, you must understand that fires are broken down into different classes, and the extinguishers are built according to the class they're built to extinguish. Now, this would be used on predominantly flammable liquids and gases like alcohol, diesel, gasoline, or electrical fires as well. So if, say for example, your microwave at home was connected to the electrical socket and it started to burn, then this extinguisher will be applicable to extinguish that fire if it should occur.
How do I know the difference? Is it labeled or something
Yes.
that tells me?
All of the extinguishers carry a label that help identify to you, the user, what class of fire it is designed to extinguish.
All right, and should we be taught how to use it? Because I could take this and just go and I press and I'm figuring it should work.
Yes, you should have some training in how to use the extinguisher. It builds confidence as well if you understand the equipment and how it works. I can tell you that our department conducts the training as well in how to use the fire extinguisher. That is done at the Fire Academy at Art Shaw, St. Thomas. But it is a very good set of knowledge to know. You can go years and not using an extinguisher, but you want to ensure that that one time that something occurs, that you're able to take it up off of the wall and apply it in a way where you not only protect yourself, but you save your property.
On the screen, we just shared with you how to use it. There's some extinguishers, okay, if I had this extinguisher here in my property for years, I never had to use it, do I lose anything inside of here?
Yes, it is recommended that you have the extinguisher checked and serviced at least once a year. Most of the extinguishers, in order for the media to expel, they are pressurized. So there is a potential that maybe one of the seals could go bad and the air could leak out, which then when you go to use it, the media does not expel because it's no longer pressurized. So we do recommend that the extinguishers be checked and serviced once a year.
We all know the red ones, but we also see some blue ones. What's the difference?
There's no difference. Those extinguishers are really the older type of extinguishers that would have been color-coded based, again, on the type of fire it was designed to extinguish. I think the blue ones are water extinguishers, if I remember correctly. But the newer extinguishers, they're all red, with the exception of the water mist. The water mist extinguisher is one of maybe the newer types of extinguishers on the market. That is used predominantly on Class A and Class C fires. So like ordinary combustibles like the chair, the carpet, and also electrical fires as well.
All right, so to get to know, make sure each room, not each room necessarily, but at least placed strategically throughout the house and so forth. Vehicles, because they do combust as well.
They do.
Should I have an extinguisher in the vehicle?
Yes, you should.
Oh, you should?
You should. Reason being, now if the fire, let's say you're coming to work and the fire occurs on the highway.
Not way.
If you have your own extinguisher and you're trained to use it, then you can at least apply some of that media until the fire service arrives, and then you pretty much save your car. So yes, you should have an extinguisher in your car. Some people do, and you should be trained to use it as well.
Electric vehicles, note the word, electric vehicles operate a whole lot differently from petrol vehicles.
Yes.
Is it also absolutely critical that they too have fire extinguishers? I mean, yes, every vehicle I understand, but how do we manage an electric vehicle versus a vehicle driven on fossil fuel?
It is managed, from our point of view, it is managed pretty much the same way, with varying techniques in terms of how we may go about extinguishment. You could appreciate that an electrical vehicle manages the energy that is used to propel it a bit differently, while the internal combustion generates its energy on the go. An electric vehicle has its energy stored within the batteries. But it doesn't mean that at some point in time it cannot become involved in fire. The approach is pretty much the same. Predominantly our primary media use is water, and for that particular vehicle it is pretty much the same as well.
Bucket of water will work.
Well, not a bucket, much more water, but same approach.
Water will work.
Water will work.
Okay, there's someone online who is asking how long would an extinguisher last for, but you understand what I'm saying, without having to feel as though it's now empty, a can is empty?
That is hard to say because they're pressurized. So for example, this may last years, but then you have another extinguisher where the seal picks a crack and the air leaks out and it has to get changed. So it really, there's no set time on how long it will last. What is important though is that you get the extinguishers checked yearly so that the technicians will check all of the seals and all of the parts and ensure that it's not rusting and the handle, the levers are moving. so that if you have to use the extinguisher, then
they tell me to pull the pin on you. Just kidding you. But there's a record that's kept on it as well for the yearly checks. So
yes. So it serves as somewhat as a reminder as to when the next service date will be.
Which is what you do with your regular cars anyhow. So just follow the same pattern. What's your final message to Barbados today as it relates to fire safety going into 2026? You can look there and tell them.
Well, I would want to encourage Barbadians to continue the good practice and good fire safety practices they've been doing at home. It is reflective in the reduction of fires that we have responded to as we transition into the new year. And, we're going into the dry season. I would encourage you to, as you're cleaning around your home, don't put the garbage out to burn. I recommend that you have the Sanitation Service Authority collect the refuge as opposed to burning. I would encourage you too, as we're going into the Old Year, New Year's period, to be careful on the roads as well. We did have an increase in motor vehicle accidents this year compared to 2024 as well. And you could appreciate that if we are called to respond to a motor vehicle accident, more often than not, it's pretty serious and persons are injured. So we want to encourage you to, leave home a little earlier, slow down, so that we can have a reduction in those serious accidents. We do appreciate there are thousands of cars on the road and things will happen from time to time, but the incidents that we respond to tend to be pretty serious. So we want to encourage persons to just slow down a bit, leave home a bit earlier, and just spare thought for the other person using the highways and byways as well.
That's Station Officer Damien Bain of the Barbados Fire Service with a good reminder of what we need to be paying closer attention to, not just this holiday season, but for going forward as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Morning Barbados comes back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV 8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray Microbiome Probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you.
Good morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We have 16 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock as we turn our attention to being prudent. And I say that with a smile because I'm guilty as charged as well. Sometimes we lose our way in our fun, but then we get serious indeed. And so 2026 is almost upon us, and it's the month of January looming. And for a lot of you, you know what January can feel like. It feels like forever till the next payday. And so joining me as we take a look at all of this and a whole lot more is our financial educator, Nikita Gibson. Nikita, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How was Christmas?
It was lovely.
It really was.
Making it lovely meant spending some money.
It did.
So how does one manage oneself during a making it merry moment?
Well, I always tell people that December always feels heavy because it's a time where we have lump sum expenses. So the best way to go about that is to not have lump sum expenses, right? It seems simple enough, right? So I usually say there's two ways, and I am guilty of actually trying to put both in place for me and my family. One is that I plan Christmas all throughout the year. You know, December is when Christmas falls, but that doesn't mean that we can't start planning earlier. Yes. And then the other thing is that I try to maximize on sales, or whether it's local artists, etc., who are playing their trades. There's so many different local markets that you can get some really good gifts at that are budget friendly, but more so it's just about planning, to be honest.
And I agree with you. I buy gifts before December. So as a year is going, I think, I think Nikita would love this. Let me hold this and put it aside.
Yeah.
And you build and you build. So you don't go for one mass shopping. You buy bits and bits and bits and bits, and before you know it, you have enough. And so December's salary is not hit in the same way that the other salaries would have been hit. And I think that's important for a lot of people, because we tend to think, I'm not considering Christmas at all till December's salary come in.
Yeah, and I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make. To be honest, I buy all, if not 90% of my gifts by November.
Yes.
So like you said, I pick up things throughout the year, especially when you know you have kids to buy for. You already know what their ages will be for this year. As you, maybe if you travel or you go to town, you see something at a market or in a store, you pick it up and you put it down for that kid, or etc.
Yes.
One of the other things to consider is making a list. I know that sounds like basic and everyone makes a list for Christmas, but do we really make a list? There's the list of gifts of the persons we want to get things for, the adults, the children, but it's also the list of things that you want. What are the things that you want to have done at the house? Is this the year you're going to power wash? Is this the year you're going to change your couch, your refrigerator, etc.? And why that's important is because that list then allows you to be able to plan throughout the year. So if I know I'm going to change my couch in December, I'll probably try to set aside $100 here, $200 here as the year goes on, so that that December salary doesn't feel hit just as much.
But that's if you have the wherewithal to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of people choose to do credit or take a loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it. I know it's on your crawl to say it.
So my position on that is I never encourage persons to take out loans or debts for things that are non-assets, things that cannot help you to either grow professionally or as an individual, or things that cannot appreciate in value. Taking out Christmas loans is something that I am forever against, right? And I know that's not something that a lot of the financial institutions would like to hear, but the truth is that if you can't afford Christmas, in terms of giving gifts to persons, then just don't give them. Or sometimes we think that it's all about the material gift, but that sentimental or emotional gift really does go a very long way. I played a very strong role in that this year with my family as well. I made little booklets, etc., to able to capture the moments and to maybe even help them progress in the things that they want to do, right? My partner wants to get into entrepreneurship some more. So one of the things I would have worked on is an entrepreneurship book. Here are the things, the how-to to start a business in Barbados. And I felt like that gift was a lot more appreciated than if I had gone to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars. So I think that people need to spend the time to realize that people don't necessarily need the material. Sometimes it's just all about cutting back as well. This Christmas for my family was a first. Our daughter, this is her first Christmas, and what was new for us is the fact that, she's at that age where she doesn't recognize certain things. She doesn't know that she's gotten gifts or not. Correct. And those are the years to monopolize on as a parent, to be honest.
Correct.
So all those are things that kind of play into how you manage your budget, how you cut back, and more importantly, be able to get through January.
I like the fact that you make a list, because in making a list, you can now really critically see what's absolutely necessary. If you didn't write it down, you assume, and so you go shopping because you had an extra $20 in your pocket or something, and you go on and you spent it. Then to realize, oh my goodness, I really needed that $20 for something else. But had you made the list, you would have known, I'm buying Johnny a ball, I'm buying Sue a dolly, and that's all you do, and nothing else.
Correct. That's it, spot on. So then I usually spend December being the month of just in case you forgot anybody, you know, because that always happens. Let's be honest. No matter what list you write, you'll always forget somebody. So, you know, you kind of set aside. So maybe for some of the adults, you might set aside a couple bottles of wine to be able to give persons. There's actually some really good local wines where you can get wines made out of jamus, and it's for the season. Maybe you could get a sorrel wine, etc. And those are budget-friendly gifts that you can give without necessarily going above and beyond and thinking you have to buy apple for everybody, for example.
Yes. Not everyone is as disciplined as you, Nikita. And so they see money and thought, hey, I get excited because I have the wherewithal to do. Not realizing that the more and more you chip away from, who's replacing it? Where's it coming from?
That's exactly it. And December is that time of year where everybody expects that they're going to get bonus, you know, well, at least in the private sector. So then the question becomes, people assume, well, I'm going to get a bonus, so I'm just going to use that money to buy gifts. But you should actually be looking ahead. What's going to be happening in December? You mentioned December being the longest month. From 4 weeks, December always feels like 10 weeks instead, right? So let's be honest there. So apart from that, I usually encourage persons, any windfall in money, like bonus, try to set aside 20%. Now that seems like a lot, but when you think about it, it's $20 for every $100 of money that you were not expecting, that was not guaranteed, right? And we have a thing where we spend money before we even get it.
That's right.
So we've decided that we are definitely going to get bonus. We have no idea what our performance appraisals were. We're going to get that bonus and we're going to spend all of it.
Yes.
So no, don't do that. Plan for what you know for sure and then go from there. And it's balancing those needs versus those wants. Now, I am guilty of, and I'm sure that a lot of households are going to be very shocked when I say this, but I do not change my curtains every Christmas.
Listen to me, you need to live with me then, because I have that same philosophy. Same said philosophy, and you're quite right. It is not absolutely critical. So what do? You rotate?
I rotate, or I just
so you
decide.
move from the front of the house to another room?
Something like that.
Okay.
Or I decide that maybe there's some old curtains that I can pull out. Or you know what? I just refresh the ones that are up. So you know, you take them all down, you have them laundered, or you wash them yourself, and then I just put them back up. To be honest, let's be real here. The guests who came to your house last Christmas are not necessarily noticed that you have up the same curtains. So I get that, and I come from a household where, you know, my mom, my grandmother, everyone felt like they had to change their curtains every Christmas, brand new curtains. But times have changed, and we need to be able to prioritize the things that we want versus the things that we need, and then be able to go from there, because we have to get through December and we also have to get through January, and that's always a critical thing.
I mean, and this is a disciplines that we need to employ for any month of the year, whether it's December or January or mid-year, it doesn't matter. Disciplines. Then the other big event that happens in December for a lot of people is Old Years. They want to dress to the nines. Old Years events to attend alone is going to hit you hard. All of those kinds of things. So let's talk a little bit about the discipline where that's concerned.
Well, I think it starts with deciding for yourself. If you know that you want to go out for Old Years, the reality is that some of the restaurants and hotels, etc., you know, the prices are always going to be higher for Old Years. You know, it's a special event. You get a lot more in terms of fireworks, champagne, etc. Then just plan ahead. Everything comes back to that one word: plan. So if you know you're going to go out for Old Years, plan ahead in terms of the ticket costs, the cost of the table, the outfit, maybe the makeup, the hair, whatever the case may be, and plan ahead and set aside from early. Because a lot of persons are now going to realize this year, I overspent last week for Christmas. No one drank all the drinks that came that I bought for the house, but now I need to be able to find money because I want to go out and have fun for Old Years as well. And all of that would have started with a plan. So you could have decided, well, I'm going to spend $500 on Old Year's night. That $500 you could have split across January to November to set aside, say, this is my Old Year's money, right? Or maybe you start 3 months before Christmas and you set aside a little bit here and there to know that once the day comes, you have the money for the ticket, the money for the outfit, and then go from there. The other side to that is, if you can't afford it, leave it out. There are so many free activities around there.
Church is one.
Church is one. There's also, you can go to the beach and watch the fireworks. You can pack a picnic at home with the same drinks that you overbought for Christmas week. You can bring those in and take your family to a picnic somewhere, enjoy the fireworks.
Agreed.
There's so many parks, etc., that have been lit for the holidays. You have King George the Fifth Park.
Farley Hill.
Yep. You have downtown in the square as well. And for me, those are all free things that you can do, enjoy it with your family, and just not have to, to overspend.
Okay, so we've done a lot of what you've said. We've set aside our savings, or 20% of, or whatever we got, we put aside, and we've been building on that. But gracious, it looks good. And so I might want to be tempted to dip into it to help balance out some of my deficiencies in other areas, my deficits in other areas. Is that a bad thing to do?
It depends on what the deficiencies are. So if it's a case where you're dipping into your savings, for example, to pay off a debt. So let's say you have a high interest debt like a credit card, and you've decided, you know what, I'm going to clear that credit card with part of my savings. Then that's not a bad thing. However, if you're pulling from your savings for now the things that you want but not necessarily need, then you need to make an assessment to determine if this is really the good move for me. Because I always tell people, think about what if. It's the what if is what savings comes in handy for. What if I lose my job in January when the year opens? What if I am not able to pay a bill? What if my electricity gets cut off?
Have a medical emergency.
Have a medical emergency. Will I have the savings in order to be able to dip in and be able to put into place for those things? It's not about you not having fun. We all want to have fun. We all want to enjoy the holidays. We want to celebrate with our families. But we have to think beyond the holidays as well. And I think that's where it begins. Start thinking about your what ifs. If you're a parent, you have kids, think about what if my child, knock on wood, were to fall and break their arm? What if they need emergency dental surgery? What if I need emergency dental surgery? Do I have the savings to be able to facilitate those things? And then go from there. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but those things give me pause when I think about going into my savings to use it for things that I know are not really needs, but more so wants.
And those emotions trigger differently as you grow older.
Yes, they do.
Older.
Yeah.
The other thing that tends to see your balance on your account is your vehicle. You know what I'm talking about. It becomes the last child you've ever had, but the most needy child you've ever had.
Definitely.
And so it sees all of that. In terms of management of vehicle and management of money, what do you recommend?
I personally like a sinking fund. Sounds like a big word, but all it is that you're setting aside money for those things. So for example, car insurance, home insurance, car maintenance. You know you're going to get your car, or supposed to get your car serviced every 3 to 4 months, right? And if you're going to do that, why, instead of waiting for the lump sum to pay it, why not set aside $50? It might not be the total to add up to the full service, but it will definitely help reduce the lump sum that comes out of 1 month's salary. And for me, I find that system works, or it helps. So I'm unfortunate in that regard, where I have my home insurance and car insurance during December and Christmas. So what I try to do is all throughout the year, I would just set aside a little bit for all three things, really and truly. So some for Christmas gifts, some for car insurance, home insurance, and some for car maintenance. And then I go from there. So for me, I think that is really and truly the strategy that works for some people.
A lot of times people run into a lump of money and they want to clear everything one time. Smart.
It depends on your situation, to be honest. If you don't have savings, then no. Because again, the what ifs, it's always smart and wise to be able to have that money. You're not just cash strapped if emergency were to strike, right? Because we live in a time where apparently you can have a pandemic out of the blue. Yes. You can also have a volcanic ash fall. You can have freak storms. And the thing is, those are all unplanned emergency events where cash can be king. So you don't necessarily want to take up all your savings or all of your windfall and put it towards debts. I do agree that paying on your debts is something that should be a priority for most persons, if not all. But it also depends on the debt, see? So let's say, for example, I always get this question, whenever I get extra money, I put it to my house, I put it to my mortgage. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, there are options in Barbados that carry a higher interest rate than what your mortgage is carrying. So why not set that windfall or extra cash to something that's earning a higher interest rate than your mortgage rate? And then if you do want to pay down your mortgage early, a simple way of doing that is just making one extra mortgage payment a year. That's it. Without saying that, I came into $5,000, so I'm going to put all $5,000 into the mortgage. Maybe my mortgage is $1,800. Put $1,800, which makes 13 payments a year, and then the rest of the funds you can invest in an instrument that is earning at a higher rate than your mortgage.
All right, teacher. Thank you, our financial educator, indeed. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much for inspiring all of us. I think we're going to have a lovely 2026 if we implement a lot of the things that you've shared with us this morning, indeed. Yes. It takes the gray hair away, and it calms your spirit and your soul because now you're managing it well. Thank you, Nikita Gibson.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome indeed. All right, folks, that's it for today. I hope you've learned a lot today, as we have indeed. And so my little crew joins me in saying to all of you, have a tremendous today. Be the will of the Lord. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.